So in the fishing world today, there is so many technological advances that we really don't know where to keep up with. And in today's video, what I'm going to talk about is a Mega 360 versus a Panoptics live scope or some type of forward-facing sonar, and which one should you get, because both play a specific role, but both do completely different things. And so a lot of guys get a 360 when they really wanted a live scope, and some guys get a live scope, but they really need a 360. So I'm going to do a breakdown on both. I'm going to go up on the front deck and show you the advantages and the disadvantages of both, so that way you guys can see which one you need to get and which one you don't need to get. So first things first, what is a 360 and what is a Panoptics or a forward-facing sonar? So this transducer right here, you can see, is a ball shape. That is a 360 transducer. The other one that we have up there on the front that's just behind the graph right there, that is a forward-facing sonar unit. And so those are two completely different sonar units, but they have a very similar cost. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the graphs after we put them in the water and show you what they both do. So if we take my trolling motor and deploy it, I've lined us up on a stump right in front of us here so you can see just what they do. So the top graph up here, that is the Panoptics, and this graph down here, the Hummingbird, that is the Mega 360. So what we'll first do is we will zoom in on the Mega 360. I have it set on half of it right now, but what I will do is I will set it. So let's look at the 360 first. So what you can see is if you see that pinwheel spinning around in a circle, what that's doing is basically acting like side imaging, but going all around the boat in real time. And you can set the speed to speed that up or slow it down. And just like side imaging, the faster you go, the less detail you get, the slower you go, the more detail you get. So if you zoom in on this right here and we look at it, you can see right in front of us is a stump. The rest of around us is grass, but what you can see is you can see a detailed outline of the stump in front of us. And what you can also do is highlight the front, highlight the back. You can zoom in, you can cut it off, but what it does is it shows you a side imaging of all of around you, and it just keeps updating constantly. And so what you get to see is you get to see every piece of cover, every grass edge. You basically get to see the outline of the bottom all around you, and you can extend this out to 100 feet. I have it at 60 feet right now because I like to keep it a little closer when I'm shallower right now so I get more detail. But it basically just lays out a top-down view of everything that's around you. And you get that set to where the front is forward. So right now that stump you can see in front of the boat icon is directly in front of us. So you can line that up and get a good sense of where everything is. And if I go in here, I can also change the display from the 360 to the front. You can see now if I exit out of that, we have just a forward view of what we were looking at. You can also, if you were set up on something, say you anchored up, you can also set it to the rear. So now I just see what's behind me. But mainly what this is for all around you, so you can see everything that's in front of you. I usually like to zoom mine in just a touch like that if I'm going to have it at that, but it gives you a top-down view of everything that's around you in real time. Now, you can't directly point it at anything to see what's happening in live imaging. All you can see is what's going on around you. You can see fish on beds, but as you see that pinwheel move, you don't get updates as they happen. You get updates periodically. And again, you can speed it up, but you lose some of the quality of the image. So it just shows you what's around you. But the good news is it's stationary. No matter if you have a lot of waves around you, no matter if you're moving, it's still going to show you everything that's down in front of you. No matter which way your trolling motor's going, that is a stationary graph. That is a stationary transducer. So no matter what's happening, it's still going to show you what's going on in front of you. Now, if we look up at the Panoptics unit, right up here, this Garmin unit in front of me, that only shows me a small window as to what's in front of me. So I can only see where that trolling motor is pointed. Now, if you have multiple graphs, you can obviously have multiple transducers to show you different things. So right here, you can see where that trolling motor is pointed, there's grass, and if I were to point it at that stump, right there, you can see the stump and you can see the fish swimming around the stump. If I were to drop a bait in there, you can see my bait fall and you can see everything happen in real time. So watch as I drop my drop shot down on that stump. You can see my bait fall to the stump and I can see what's happening to my bait. but I only get a sliver of what's going on. I don't get to see the overall picture. I don't get to see a layout of what the stump looks like, and I don't get to see really what the overall grass is doing all around it. I just get to see whatever I'm pointed at when it comes to what's in front of me or wherever that trolling motor is pointed. That being said, it does get to show me where the fish are at. You can see there's fish swimming around that stump. I can see directly where they are, and I can see directly what my bait is doing when I get it around those fish. So right there, I just dropped my bait onto what looked like a couple of nice sized bass. But again, I don't get to see the entire layout. And the other downfall is I don't get to see what else is around me while I'm looking at that stump. So I'm only focused on that stump. I can see what's behind it and I can see what's in front of it, but only in that direction. And another thing is, if it gets windy, if it gets wavy, this gets a whole lot harder to look at because I'm constantly going to be fighting the waves and I'm constantly going to be fighting which way the trolling motor is facing. So say if I want to go to the left, I'm only going to see what's over on the left. I don't get to see what's in front of me on the right as well, like I would with the 360. But again, I do get to see my bait and I do get to see where the fish are at and what they're doing, which is a big advantage if you have a front-mounted trolling motor, or if you're a person that fishes on calm lakes, or if you just like looking at fish specifically. This is a great way to do it because you can look at specific pieces of cover and target specific fish. But if you have a boat where you don't know where the cover's at, or you're just trying to go down the bank, this might not be the setup for you because you don't get to see everything that's going on. You know, if you're not really great with technology, Panoptics and forward-facing sonar does take a little bit to learn because you do have to figure out where those fish are pointed, because you do have to try to figure out what you're pointed at, and you do have to try to figure out what you're looking at in general. Because if I didn't tell you this was a stump, it might be hard to tell that this was a stump. It might be more looking like a rock pile. You would just know there is something different on the bottom right there. But the good news is you would see the fish that are on it. Versus the 360, I can see the overall layout, I just can't see the individual fish. So now that you've seen what they both do, you can see that if you don't know what you're fishing, or you really struggle when you're up on a trolling motor, Panoptics probably isn't for you, because as you can see, you have to be pointing the trolling motor and constantly moving around to try to get an overall picture as to what's down there. So if you're good with your side imaging, you can go back and forth and graph everything and put waypoints on it and go back with Panoptics and mark it. But if you don't have a lot of time, sometimes there's your entire fishing day. So if you just want to have something where you can see what's on the bottom out in front of you, 360 might be more your alley, because with that 360, I can see an overall layout of everything around me without having to go there first. So all I can do is put the trolling motor down, fish down some of my favorite stretches, and see what's on the bottom out there, because that way I know what I'm fishing. And like I said, you can line that 360 up with what's in front of you, so you can line it directly in front of you. So right away, you'll get a pretty good idea as to where your casts are going and what you're fishing. It all is just going to depend on your specific fishing style as to what you like to fish and what you want to do with it. But hopefully this helps you guys understand the two a little bit and understand what you want to do with the two a little bit, so that way you don't end up spending money on a Panoptics unit when you really wanted a 360, or vice versa. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to dive into the Bible and we're going to do a quick Bible study. But if you want to just watch more fishing videos, be sure to check this video I have linked up here, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to follow the regular content I have coming out every week. But now let's dive into the good word of the Lord. So as always, guys, we're going to end with a quick word of the Lord. And today I actually just want to commemorate somebody who, man, they've been a true warrior of the Lord. They've been a true Jesus warrior, and that is Phil Robertson. You guys probably know him from Duck Dynasty. He actually passed away this Memorial Day weekend, and he's going to be somebody that's sorely missed by the entire community just because of how simple of a life he led. You know, he was a true just believer. He believed in the good Lord, and he tried to live his life that way. He didn't follow along with the pursuit of everything that we tend to get caught up in, with all of the technology, with how we live our lives. He truly lived a simple way, believed in the Lord, and tried to do everything that way. You saw it in the works that he did, whether it was feeding people, whether it was leading his community, whether it was how he spoke, whether it was how he treated people. He truly just did amazing things. He truly led probably almost millions to the Lord just through everything that he did, whether it was through his TV show or whether it was through his podcasts. It didn't matter. He was just somebody to look up to. and we're going to miss him. We're all going to miss him. So love your neighbor, love your Lord, and try to live every day like Jesus, and say a prayer for the Robertson family. That's all I got this week, guys. God bless every one of you guys. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to follow all the content. But thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.